Up until now, the tallest boy who had ever played in the state tournament had been 6'5". But then came Jim McIntyre from Minneapolis Patrick Henry, who stood 6'7" in 1944 and 6'9" in 1945. The tournament's scoring record had been 77 points. McIntyre scored 86 and then 100. The record for points in a game was 27. McIntyre scored 29, then 36, and then 43. Henry won 6 tournament games by an average of 50-31 and 2 straight titles.
Jim McIntyre perhaps gets forgotten because he went into the ministry instead of into professional basketball, where maybe he could have kept up his name along the likes of George Mikan or Bob Kurland or something like that. But the big man who had the skills and could dominate like that, not just a tall person that you could put out there. And at the University of Minnesota, he was one of the very few consensus All-Americans that the Gopher basketball team has ever had.
In 1946, the fast break was introduced by tiny Lind High School. Lind actually beat #1 rated Crosby Ironton 58-47, but lost the title game to Austin.
Yeah, nobody had ever seen a high school team run a fast break prior to that time. Well, Lind came to town from western Minnesota. Nobody in the Twin Cities had ever seen them play. Nobody knew what they were going to do. Well, in the first round, they played the #1 rated team in the state of Minnesota from Crosby Ironton. Crosby Ironton didn't know what they were in for.
The next year, St. Paul Marshall qualified for the tournament. On their roster were Leon Combs and Curtis Russell. They would be the first African Americans to play in the tournament. Meanwhile, attendance skyrocketed during the 40s. A crowd of 10,000 saw the state championship game for the first time in 1941. By 1943, it was 14,500, while total attendance topped 40,000 for the first time. By 1946, more than 16,000 watched the championship game.